launched a brand new podcast, Diva Defined, where she talks to other powerful women making moves in their various life and career paths. Cheryl and her guests are inspiring people each week with this incredible new project. As Ralph began her career on the silver screen in the film A Piece of the Action as Barbara Hanley with Sidney Poitier and Bill Cosby, she went on to star as Denzel Washington's wife in The Mighty Quinn, filmed in Jamaica. So high, so high, so high. Money take me high, so high, so high, so high. All I want is take me high, so high, so high, so high. I want you to take me high, so high, so high, so high. I want you to take me high. She also starred in Robert De Niro's mistress in Mistress. Sheryl Lee won the Independent Spirit Award for her role as Linda in To Sleep with Anger with Danny Glover. She and Whoopi Goldberg shared the screen with Lauryn Hill in Sister Act 2 and with Morgan Freeman in Just Getting Started.
Somebody does worship right here, sir. Somebody worship right here. If he be lifted up, he will draw.
Her television credits are numerous. She's known for playing Ginger St. James on It's a Living, Etienne to Saint Bouvier on Designing Women, and beloved for her role as Dee Mitchell on Moesha, for which she was voted as one of TV's favorite moms. Yeah, I used to watch Moesha a lot, a whole lot.
Moesha turns 25 years old on Saturday.
So we welcome to a live Celeb Circuit the diva herself, Sheryl Lee Ralph. Welcome to a live on the family station, Love 101. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Good to be here with you this Friday as we head into the weekend.
All right, you're looking as fabulous as you've always looked. What is your secret?
You know what? It's good living. No bad life living, no talking, saying unkind things, no imbalance, no imbibing too much, no bad talk, none of that.
Keeping
a balance, a level of peace and control.
Wow, that's beautiful. Someone says, I love the hat. I was just about to comment on that. The sense of fashion has been phenomenal throughout the years, and we can fully expect that because of your connection to a mother who created a style that our own prime minister was, fancied in wearing. Tell us about your
That's right. Back in the day, I was very young, and my mother one day said, I'm tired of seeing our men sweat in their clothes when they go to these functions. They need something that they can breathe and look good in. And she really just reinvented what we now know as the bush jacket. She called it the Kariba. And I was amazed one day. I was walking through the airport, and the airport in Kingston has these pictures of great men and great visitors to Jamaica, and so many of them were wearing mom's Karibas. Wow. And I was like, oh my gosh, it was a time where a man, if he was coming through, visiting a man of importance, of stature, or just a man achieving that, he would have on a Kariba, and it was just amazing to see.
Wow. How old were you when that came about? And, how did it influence your own look on life, your view on life, to see that someone connected to you had that impact?
It's an amazing thing when you can open up a newspaper like the New York Times, and above the fold, there is an article about your mom's achievements. It was amazing. It was amazing.
Wow.
And a whole half a page, and all about Jamaica and Ivy Ralph, so it had a great impact on me. And it was wonderful to see that I could find articles from the daily, what's the paper in London, but it was around the world, and it just felt so good. Very empowering.
Wow. Very, very, I can imagine that. Now, you are, a diva. Let's get it out. You are a diva. You have,
But wait, let's give diva the clarity it deserves in this day and age.
please.
Diva for me is an acronym. A diva is one, whoever that may be, who is divinely inspired, victoriously alive, aware, awesome, audacious. And if it was Sunday, we would be anointed. Diva.
All right. We love that and we work with that. Now, tell us about your introduction to theater and film and all of that. How did you get involved in that? Was it something that happened spontaneously or was it intentional on your part?
I think my mother, as she likes to tell it, my introduction to the theater, my introduction to drama was being born. I was born at a time where they used to slap children on their behinds to
Yeah.
clear their lungs.
Okay.
Now your entrance into the world is different, far more gentle.
Yeah.
And anyway, when I was born, they said there was no need to slap me on my behind because I was already laughing.
Wow. 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 That's amazing. So there was that element about your life from birth.
That's what they say.
How was it harnessed, or did it just flow naturally?
It was just something that was natural. But, being the mother of a strong West Indian woman, being the daughter of a strong West Indian woman as my mother, it was marry a doctor, marry a lawyer. And if you can't do, then become one. So,
Okay, okay. Now you have starred in some of the. You have starred with some of the big names in American film. Bill Cosby, Sidney Poitier, Denzel Washington. Did you ever think, being someone from West Indian descent, going into the United States, did you ever envision that that would have been the the end of you, well, the story that we now talk about your life?
it's so interesting because I was driving past Terra Nova yesterday, when you to come up around the Canadian embassy,
Yeah, yeah.
and there's an apartment complex to the left. And I used to live there with my mom, right? And I remember that's where I was when I got the call from Mr. Poitier in Hollywood that I had been cast in my first film, Piece of the Action. And I remember just bolting out of the front door and dancing in the driveway in front of the apartment, screaming, I'm going to Hollywood. I'm going to Hollywood.
Wow.
And yeah, so being able to big up Jamaica, big up the West Indies, the Caribbean has always been a flag I've been proud to carry always.
Always, I can imagine that. When you mentioned that you bolted out, I said, you could have definitely done well at my church. A lot of running goes on there. When we're excited, we run. But all right, so that would have been your first experience, and then you'd have blossomed in many other roles. Is there a particular high point that you remember from your days in theater that are on the film that stands out? Or
There are many, but I'll never forget. There was a big producer by the name of Michael Butler, and Michael Butler had produced an outrageous piece of theater called Hair. His follow-up to Hair was a musical called Reggae. They had cast a beauty queen from Jamaica, but they flew her to Broadway, and they started production on the musical and discovered that she could neither act nor sing. And you're talking about a few million, 10 million US dollars here on a musical. And I had just been exited out of a show and left in Delaware. And I called my good friend Jeffrey Gunter to this day, and I said, Jeffrey, they left me. They left all of the black kids, and they just left us here by ourselves. That's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
He said, Cheryl, stop the tears. Get on the next thing. Smoking out of Delaware. They've fired the beauty queen, and if you get here, you're going to be on Broadway.
Wow.
So said, so done.
Wow.
Yeah, the
Probably
musical
then
was
just
called
working.
Reggae. It opened and closed very quickly. Some incredible Jamaican talent on the Broadway stage. It was a show way ahead of its time. But once again, there you have Jamaica having its influence on my career.
Wow, amazing, amazing, amazing. Tell us about your love for Jamaica. You are in the island now, it seems. You mentioned you just driving past Terra Nova. The influence of Jamaica, your love for Jamaica. Tell us about it. What about it, you know, warms your heart? Is it the people, the food, or a bit of everything?
Well, first of all, if you look at the people, oh my God, look how beautiful we are. Look how beautiful we are. Just look at the people. We're beautiful. Eat the food. You ever taste it? Taste real good Jamaican food. It's delicious.
Yeah, man.
Trust me. You can
Yes.
pick another island, anyone, and I've been to lots of them. Them not have the kind of food we have. And all of them, when they come to Jamaica, oh, the food in Jamaica is so good. Oh, come on. The music, you ever hear it? They
Ah,
copy us all around the world, but reggae is ours.
yeah,
It's
definitely.
our music. I'm like, come on. If it was just about the food, if it was just about the people, if it was just about the music, I mean, that would be enough. But have you ever really looked at the country? My God, it's Jamaica is so beautiful. So beautiful.
Wow, wow, wow. What is your greatest hope for Jamaica? I know you have accomplished a lot and you have a great level of influence. What is your greatest hope for Jamaica? Because many persons can't, in the country can't see Jamaica for how you see it and the impact that you know Jamaica and Jamaicans have. What is your greatest hope?
Wow. You know, if you don't have hope and respect for where you are, then you need to go somewhere else, because where you are is where you are. That's where God placed you. And it is up to you to figure out, will you thrive, or will you merely survive? Will you give your best? Will you do your best, good, better, best? Never let it rest till your good is better and your better best for your yard. I mean, what kind of sickness is it when you have to hate where you are? You hate where you are. You hate part of yourself. What can you do to make it better? And trust me, there's a lot you can do to make Jamaica better. And that journey starts with you, nobody else. Because if you, same one, cannot read stop on the stop sign on the road, it starts there.
Yeah.
It starts with you not overdoing anything, not overdoing drinking, not overdoing the weed, not overdoing the cussing, not overdoing the bad mindedness. It starts right there with that. Can you start there and do better with you? Because trust me, when I drive around, when I walk around, when I take pictures around, a lot of us can start doing better by each other. They say that when America gets a cold, we get pneumonia. There's a lot of nastiness going on in America. You see what happened there, right? You
Mm,
see the crazy people that decided they had the strength and the power to just storm the Capitol. What if madness took over us like that? It would be nobody. We would have deserved it no more than we voted for it. We let it happen. We sat by and we watched the island go down the tubes
mm,
without doing better ourselves for
ourselves.
ourselves.
And
It's crazy to me that we're having to ask people to bring tablets for kids to go to class. It's madness to me when some kids go to class, they don't have a tablet and they have to sit in the back of the classroom because they're being left behind out of the digital divide. It's sad to me. It's awful to me. It's awful to me that in the middle of a gully, I have to be able to see a dead dog float down the gully. That's how people get sick. That's how people die. And you're going to tell me it's okay to let that happen. These are the ways that we could start to love and do better by Jamaica. But don't get me started. Right.
So passionate. I definitely hear the passion in your voice. Now, rumor has it that you've acquired a great love for Callaloo. That's
No, I
one.
haven't acquired. What do you mean? I've acquired a great love of color. What in the world? That's like saying you've acquired a choice and you love the flavor of saltfish. Well, what are you talking about?
So it's innate. Then it's innate. As you're born with laughter, you've always loved that.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
like roast corn? I like roast corn.
not so much a fan of that one, but yeah. She if you're on Facebook, if you see her expression, no, I love pressed plantain. Have
Oh
you,
my
you
God, that is
ah
great. But you know
ah
what I really love?
yeah.
Pressed green
That's
plantain.
that's what I'm talking about. That's what
Oh
we call
yeah,
it. Yeah.
man.
Yeah, that is it.
That
That is it.
I think that actually comes from one of our sister countries, around there. I think it's from Honduras, is it?
Oh, yeah.
I
Wow.
think it's Honduras.
Actually, I
That
remember asking on this program who started that because I've had the discussion with my mother because I really like to find out the inspiration behind some meals because it must have been a divine moment. Some persons come up with some meals, right?
No, no,
Uh,
no. I think it was a divine moment when the person figured out how to make bulla cake. That
ah,
was a
yeah.
divine moment.
All right, all right. We're on the same page here. We're definitely on the same page here. Now, you last year shared some Instagram pics on celebrating with your husband. And it was really beautiful to see hashtag Black Love, and he is a senator for many persons who probably don't know. Tell us about that experience in marriage and family and how much it means to you amidst all your great success.
You know something? It's like anything else. It's a balance. I was married before I divorced, and years later I remarried. I had two children, a son and a daughter, and it was important for me to find an honorable man. When you have children and you remarry, you have to be able to marry the kind of man who not only honor you but honor both of your children,
Yeah.
especially if you have male and female, the kind of man who could respect both of my children and not get in the way per se of a relationship with those children and their father, myself with that person. That was all very important to me. So it was to take the kind of time where all three of us could be well taken care of and supported in family in a marriage. And that's led to, I would say a good part of my success is being able to have a balance in family.
Wow, wow, amazing. Tell us about, how does it feel to be connected with someone in that position of prominence, being a senator?
Mm.
Does it take a lot of strain on you, perhaps emotionally and mentally, and knowing the political landscape that, he would have to navigate through as well?
I would say more so right now. When they
Mm,
had the insurrection at the American Capitol,
Capitol Hill, yeah.
and it spilled over to other capitals in the country. And it was found out that one of the insurrectionists who broke into the office of Nancy Pelosi was actually from the capital city of Pennsylvania.
Mm,
And there was a group of them. So it immediately became far more stressful than it's ever been because in my mind they're in danger's way.
yeah.
When you could find pictures of one of the other senators on the GOP side having participated in the insurrection and then trying to come to the Capitol when they're in session or do whatever it is they're doing, meeting in separate or joint sessions, it became much more of a concern. It was very frightening to me because I don't want to be a widow king. I don't want to be any of those women. I don't want that.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I can understand the political landscape climate now very tense. You served, promoting Kamala Harris's bid for presidency. Obviously, she has now been elected as vice president. Your thoughts on that, your feelings on that, being also from Caribbean descent.
I tell you, it's very, very interesting how you must follow your gut and go with what you believe. The number of people who told me, don't waste your time with that, Cheryl.
What?
It's never going to. Yeah, people have short memories. There are a lot of people who said
Wow.
it's never going to happen for her. She's not going to be president of the United States. And to me, it wasn't so much that she wasn't going to be president of the United States, but she was going to be something.
Mm.
It was obvious to me. And it was also obvious to me early that if you could get behind this woman, this Black woman, then the whole panacea of election and votes and politics, that could be a part of a major change for Black people in the world. Because you would have seen a Black man as the most powerful man in the world. He also showed us there are quite a few racist countries in the world, countries who do not respect Black people, and it was very hard to see, the behavior that came out of the Philippines, the behavior that came out of China, the behavior that came out of Russia. It was horrible to see how people in some of these countries behaved towards people of color, just not wanting to respect Barack Obama.
Hmm.
I mean, I learned a lot. I don't know about anybody else.
Yeah, yeah. Has any have we regressed? Are we making the kind of strides that we really need to make
Well,
from?
listen, we must have made strides because after Barack Obama for president, we see Kamala Harris, VP,
Yeah.
one step away from the most powerful person in the world. And I believe we're going to see her become just that. And
Okay.
I was ready to take that journey. So my belief in her, I was like, Cheryl, you were right. You followed your gut. So happy you didn't listen to those people. I remember jumping out early for Barack Obama and having people tell me things like, Lord, that name has too many vowels in it. It was amazing how many people wanted to say that's not going to happen. And yet,
Wow.
through both of those political journeys, so much has happened. So
You
much
have
has
you,
changed.
you have an eye for picking winning candidates. Any prospect of a candidacy on your part at any level?
Let me tell you something. I have been very good at picking the winner of every political race I decided to get back and get behind early. I'm not supporting me to run for office at all. One, I have too much of a big mouth. You cannot have a big mouth and run for politics.
That's
No.
debatable. I'm 45. That's all I'll say.
Oh, he was interesting. He was a thug. No, let me fix that. He is a thug. He is an outlaw. He is a criminal and a big mouth. I'm only one of those things. He was the most despicable. Let me rephrase that. He is the most despicable human being. But once again, he showed us just how many more people there are in America willing to follow his despicable behavior. And you would be surprised at the kind of people who voted for and supported that despicable orange stain.
Strong words, strong words, strong words. If you're just joining us, we're talking with Sheryl Lee Ralph, a distinguished actress, and so much more that she carries on her plate. And she represents it so well, especially being from Jamaica. Representing, yeah, man, all right, yes, 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 yes. Everyone watching on Facebook, they're seeing that on YouTube as well, seeing that. Now you have, ventured not only in the political landscape, supporting, throwing your support behind individuals, But for 30 years, you have sought to raise awareness of HIV and AIDS. And that,
Yes.
you know, no mean feat by any stretch of the imagination. What drew you to this cause first and foremost, and what drives you continually?
You know something? It was horrible to me as a young woman to see how people suffered and died in their sickness, and good people, kind people, people of all religions, faiths and beliefs, found it easy to point fingers at people and tell them that they deserve this or they deserve that because of them and how they are. And I always thought, being a child brought up in church, what would it be like if all of us had to walk through life raising our hands and saying, I'm a liar, I'm a cheater, I'm an adulterer, I don't pay my taxes ever. What if we were to have to say out loud to the world who we really were? Would that make you better or worse than anybody? So I did not choose to stand in judgment and sit in judgment against anybody for anything, because God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. And I thought to myself, wow, what a sacrifice of everything. And maybe one of the greatest sacrifices we can make is to each other, to be as kind to each other, no matter what and who we are, as long as we are not molesting and killing little children and murdering the people in our community.
Wow, wow. What fruit has that produced for over the 30 years? What
Wow.
are the
We
stories that
have
you've heard?
we have really been good at opening people's hearts and minds to people with differences, all kinds of differences, no matter what. We've been really very good at opening people's minds to the fact that what other people do sometimes, most times, is not your business, especially if you cannot take care of your own. There are so many people trying to pull splinters out of other people's eyes when they have a log in their own, trying to get people to understand that you are very much responsible for yourself. And when you have perfectly walking through this world like Christ himself, then maybe you can say something about somebody else. But that's truly a great status to achieve, trying to get people to understand, live and let live. Can you be with yourself? People, the best and the worst that have been created.
Interesting, interesting, interesting. So that,
You're
so
very
that,
interesting. I know that you've said interesting 3 times now when we talked about Trump and when we talked about this. I see you and I would have to have a different conversation, because I'm trying to peer into what is he thinking there. But that's for a whole nother day.
it is indeed for a whole another day. Now, I'd love to find out from you, what keeps you going as a person? What drives you,
the
to
breath
keep
that
on
god
going?
so the breath that God so lovingly puts in me every day, the ability that God gives me to be able to wake up in the morning in my right mind, put my feet on the ground and carry on with my day, with myself, for myself, by myself, so that I can be better to help others do the same.
Wow, wow.
That right there.
Keeps you going. All
Yeah.
over me, keeping me alive. That's a song here in Jamaica. Now, what can we expect from you? What's on the horizon? I know a woman of vision like yourself. You're not just sitting down waiting for something to happen. Being a diva, you're gonna make something happen. What can we look out for?
Absolutely. Right now, people can download my Audible book. It's available now on Audible. It is called Redefining Diva 2.0 by Sheryl Lee Ralph. Redefining Diva 2.0 by Sheryl Lee Ralph. If it's your first book on Audible, you can download it for free. So please download my book. We've got some other projects in development. People love Hallmark movies. Right in the midst of finishing up a new script, so I'm excited about
Okay,
that.
all
I'm
right.
working on another series right now where I play the 45th president in an alternative world called Motherland Fort Salem on Freeform. That will be coming back in March, and working to produce some other projects, some that will probably be aired, very much like the project that we did with TVJ for New Year's Eve, Diva Simply Singing Gospel Special. So we'll be working on those sort of things, and people can follow me on my Instagram, the Sheryl Lee Ralph, the Sheryl Lee Ralph, and it's nothing but THE and my name. Anything else without a blue check is not me.
Yeah, I
You
mean
can
that.
follow me on Twitter and Facebook too.
All right, great, great, great. Your encouragement for our listeners. In a minute, what would you want to say to our listeners to encourage perhaps a young girl in her teens, has it having aspirations of being a global influencer? Perhaps it's a young boy. What would be your encouragement?
My encouragement is what I tell most people. I hope, I pray that you'll be able to get up in the morning, look in the mirror, and love what you see, respect what you see, empower what you see, embrace what you see, because life sometimes can be a battle, but you want to make sure that what you see in the mirror is on your side. Always remember, the better you are to yourself, the better you can be to everybody else, because unhappy people are very good at making other people unhappy. And if you're going to pray, don't worry. If you're going to worry, don't pray. You've got to have the faith of a mustard seed. And if you've ever seen a mustard seed, you know how small that is. You got to have that kind of faith to carry on in this life, because this journey, if you're fortunate, is not a short one. It's a long one. And what you see in the mirror must always be on your side. And have faith, because God is always watching.
I love that. What you see in the mirror must be on your side. So many persons struggle with self hate.
They do. I see them a lot. It's interesting. You drive around in Jamaica and you see so many people not liking their skin that they're in. So many people choosing to use chemicals and lotions and powders and bleaches to bleach out the beautiful black that God gave them.
Can't work.
Self-hatred is a one
Yeah.
awful, awful, awful thing.
Sheryl Lee Ralph, it's been a pleasure. This is so conversational. Yeah, I would really love to have the extended talk that you mentioned. I can't believe that the time is gone. We've actually gone above the time, but that's what happens when an individual flows as freely and fluently as you have done. Thank you so much for uh, sharing your love for Jamaica and your inspiration, and what drives you. Thank you for sharing that, and continue to be the influencer you are, and making the impact, and causing many persons like myself to feel so much better about Jamaica because of what you have done.
Thank you. Thank you very much. God bless. Follow me and I'll see you out there on social media.
All right, take care.
Bye-bye.